Hi everybody, Mark here at Gilbo Realty. Today I'm going to do homes between the sixes. Now I've got 9 homes here. I picked them out. I just randomly selected homes that have recently been discounted, where they're at, why they're discounting, how long they've been on the market. And I'm going to pull each one up here really quick just to see the scenario. I haven't really looked at all of them. I just saw that on the Zillow that they have been discounted. So let's go in and see why, see what's going on, so we get a general idea of the overall market. Now, there's a ton of homes for sale between the sixes. You can go on Zillow, there's a ton. You can go on the Villages, there's a ton. There is no shortage of inventory. I do get a lot of emails, a lot of questions saying, should I buy now? And I can't answer that. As a realtor, I can't answer whether you should buy or whether you should sell now. What I can do is just give you my opinion, what's going on in the market, what things are selling for. My personal opinion is the market's coming down on price, and it has been for a while. But there are some markets within the country that are doing okay. If you look at northern New York, seems to be people are moving back to some of those areas that moved in COVID, and the inventory is still relatively low, and they're doing okay. Now, does that mean that every home in upstate New York is dropping in value or going up in value? No. If you look outside the major cities, there's been major corrections in pricing in those areas. I mean, I can see it. But the cities, the larger cities like Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, they have held up better than the outskirts of those areas. Okay, so everything's a little different. And a lot of people say, well, it's local. Real estate is local, but you can see a major trend going on across the country. And that's what I try to look at as to what's going on. Some places will do better. Many places will not do as good. And we can definitely tell that just with the rates being near 7%, that the market has dramatically slowed. When you have mortgage applications at all-time lows, you don't have to be a scientist to figure out that the market's going to slow, right? I mean, I think we can all figure it out. We're all smart enough. If you get a first-grade education, I think you can figure it out. So between that and what's going on here in the Villages, I like to look at both, because the Villages is a very, very unique community. You have people, probably one of the only places in the country where you have people all over the world trying to move to. It's one of those towns where even though it's not on an ocean, you're not overlooking an ocean, you still have people that are looking to move there. Very rare, to be honest with you. Usually you'll get the snowbirds and vacationers that will come down to maybe an oceanfront or a resort, or maybe even buy a condo along the Gulf or something. But to see people from around the world go into the Villages without any major ocean around within an hour or so or more is unique. So that's why I kind of look at the Villages. That's why I'm focusing on this, and I hope you enjoy the video. So let's get into the homes. Again, I'm trying to keep these short. I have each one of these pulled up to make this video quicker. I'm trying to edit these down. And if you have any questions, post them down below. If you have any comments, feel free to post down below. Again, when you post something, everybody learns something. So let's take a look. This one here just popped up. It was $359, 930 Misty Court, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. That's a nice home. One thing I noticed, it's along the golf course. Okay. Privacy backyard, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, Village of Hemingway. I will say one thing the Villages can do better is on their website list out all the villages, like every single one, and where they're located. They don't really do that. They kind of keep it to themselves. But you have quite a bit of saves here, 2,300 saves, 2,300 views, 74 saves. That's quite a bit. And if you look here, this sold in 09 for $183. They just listed this in November for $389.9, came down in December before Christmas for $375, and now sits February 28th, $359.9, and that's where they stick as of today. So they're at about a 7.8% drop in price. Now remember, this is the prime season of Florida. Okay, so they're not used to this price discounting over the last 4 years or 3 years. They've been kind of spoiled. And that's probably going to be the trend on some of these homes, unless you have something unique, a very unique property. Okay. All right, let's keep going to another one. 2691 Radbourne Way, the Villages, right? 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,400 square feet. It's a pretty house. Nice camera view, right? Got the clouds behind, a little sunset going on. Got a little front entry here. 27 saves, quite a bit. 281 a square foot. 679,000. Let's take a look at this baby. Again, you see here, boom, jack the price. So this was listed 216 of last year, 825, 317, 799, 422, 775, 51, 765, 522, 750, 10-7, 5 months later to 700. December 4th, 695. It now sits as of 2/23/2024 of 679,000. Now this is a time where they're probably trying to get some more money than they thought they would get. It doesn't really tell me what this sold for. I wish it did, but obviously they've owned this for a little while before 2015, obviously, or 14. But again, they missed that window here. Here's that window right here. So everybody now trying to sell, peaking up their prices, but this was the window of the Villages, 2022. If you miss this window to sell, your prices are coming down. Okay, that's where that sits. Let's go to another one. 2615 Fletcher Ln. It had a 90K price drop on 213. It's got a beautiful pool, birdcage, 3 beds, 3 bath, 2,100 square feet. It's nice. It's got vinyl siding. I think in this price range, you're probably looking at stucco block build. But it does have a pool, and that birdcage costs some bucks, right? So this was not cheap to put all this in. You're looking at probably 100 grand, depending when they put it in. Landscaping's not cheap. Have all this put in. Okay, so let's see what's going on with it. That's what matters. What's going on? They bought this right in 2019 for $315. We had that COVID ramp up. Again, there's the peak. All right, and then we have this. They listed it back. Let's take a look. We see some sales. 2019, when they bought it, $315. Listed for sale in January of this year for $775. They are now down 90 grand to $685. Okay. There's a home in Dabney for about $800,000, but it's beautiful, brand new, like 1 year old, not even, with a pool, birdcage. It's gorgeous. It's running about $800,000, and so you got to be careful. A lot of these homes, the newer homes, some of them are having pools put in from the get-go, and they're putting them in cheaper than they could if you had to put it in after the build. But, you know, hopefully they sell this, but I could see why they marked it down so much. They were a little overpriced. Okay, next, 2553 Alandari Ln. Just had a 5 grand price cut as of 2 days ago. Let's look at this home. Vinyl siding. Looks like hardwood floors or tile, one of the two. I want to say hardwood. Okay. Let's go back. 3 beds, 2 bath, 1488, 269 a square foot, 400K right now it sits. Let's take a look. How long's it been on the market? Sold in 2006 for 176. Listed for 2024 for 405. Now they're down to about 400, 269 a square foot. I think that, like I said previously in some of my other videos, that 250 a square foot's being challenged. So hopefully they can sell it. Let's keep going. 2200 Jem Path, the Villages, 1,559 square feet, 3 beds, 2 bath, nice little landscaping, nice little front porch. I like the garage, got some windows in it. 10K price cut again 2 days ago, before the weekend. So it sits at 344.9. Again, you got that ramp up, see that, and you got the decline. So where are we at? Listed, removed. So, okay, so they listed it in October. They removed it for some reason. Put it back on the market in November. $379. Discounted it down to $374.9 on 1/15 of this year. 2 weeks later, $369. Another week later, $359. 2 weeks later, $354.9. And now you're sitting on 3/8 at $344.9, which is a 1.32.6. What's that? 6.3, somewhere in there, 7, 8, 9, about, and we're almost a 9.5 to 10% discount in price. That's kind of where they sit right now. Okay, looks like they had it listed at 370, and then they raised the price. Took it off, re-raised it, and probably the owner came back and said, "Hey, I want to go a little bit higher," and they took it off, removed it, put a new, fresh new listing on. So again, at least this is stucco and block, right? Hopefully they could sell it. We'll take a look. 1826 Hallandale Ln, the Villages, obviously. There's a home right here. Nice little landscaping. Vinyl siding. Front lanai. 285,000, 2 beds, 2 bath, 1156. 247 a square foot. And I will tell you, the newer homes, you can get a 2 bed, 2 bath, 13 something, 100 square feet for this price. And you can get a 2 bed, 2 bath this square foot for about 250 right now in the newer sections. Just a heads up. I'm not sure when the roof on this was swapped out. Says anything? Beautiful large kitchen cabinets. Just remember the roofs on these insurance companies start giving you a hard time around the 12 to 15 year mark. Okay. So where are we at? They tried to rent this in 19 a few times. So 8/16 of last year, 295. They removed the listing 3 weeks later. Put it back on in December. Maybe they rented it for 295 and 12/1, 295. Now on February 29th, they're at 285 at 3.4% discount. So it could be a good rental there. If you're looking for something, you got to throw some updates in it. Take a look at the kitchen. Older countertops, older appliances. It's got carpet. That'll all have to come out. See, it's kind of scuffed. This home may need a little bit of work here and there. Some updating. And I think if you bought a newer home at around the same price with no updates, okay? So just think about that. New one, 1414 Georgetown Ave, the Villages, Florida. 2,200 square feet, 3 bed, 2 bath, 10K price cut in February 14th. Down to $216 a square foot. Okay, 480,000. What's the deal with this one? Listed for sale for $549 on 9/27. A month and a half later, $529. 1/5 of this year, $500,000, down $30K. 1/29 of this year, down to $490, down $10K. And 2/14 of last month, down to $480, $216 a square foot. I mean, this is a nice looking home. It's got these beautiful trees in it. Again, you're gonna have to run into possibly some dated cabinets, carpet, countertops, lighting, possibly, but it looks okay. It's like I said, this is a tough price range. The newer home builds down below are putting a lot of strain on this range because you can get a lot of home for $480 on a new build. Now, you're not going to have the finished driveways, painted driveways. You're not going to have the finished garage floor. Obviously, you're not going to have a pool. You're not going to have updated landscaping, some of that stuff, okay? But, to be honest with you, some people would rather move into a home where it doesn't need a lot of work, right? So I just bought it. I know my roof's going to have 15 years. I know my stucco's going to have forever if I take care of it. And they're using the new block. And they're not using the blocks anymore. They're using that whole new prefabbed wall to build some of these homes. And they're a lot stronger. And they will last longer than the existing homes that were built 4 or 5 years ago. So anyways, $480 sits there, 10 grand price cut, and it's a big home, so maybe somebody wants something up in this area that's a pretty big size. They can bring family into vacay. Looks pretty from the street. If you like the old neighborhoods with the old trees, this is the one. Okay? Let's keep going. 1867 Sagamore St, 10K price cut, $399.9, 1,332 square feet, $287. Courtyard Villa, beautiful luxury vinyl plank flooring and vaulted ceilings. Okay, Lake Sumter Landing. Got a few saves. Okay, here we go. Here's that peak, right, folks? I keep talking about. They bought this right before. Okay, so this is going to hurt. I already know it's going to hurt. I haven't even seen it. Okay, so 2/2/2022, they bought this for $369.9 plus closing cost. So let's just say $371. Okay, give or take. Plus any taxes they had to come up with. So 2/20 of this year, $410. And then 3/4, they came down 2.5%. So by the time they're done paying a realtor, they're not making money. So they're just trying to get out of this. Okay. My guess is they'll probably end up losing money in this deal when they're done. Could be many reasons why they're trying to sell. Who knows? But the point is, these people aren't walking away with money in their pocket. And again, it's because they bought, just real quick, that peak. That was the peak of the Villages right there, 22. Things have been slowly working their way down no matter what Zillow does with these little peak graphs on the ends. Okay. All right, next. 1952 Ethanwood Ave, the Villages, obviously. 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,000 square feet. I like this entry, long entry. It's pretty. Blocks some of the environment from hitting your front door as well. Also keeps heat in, keeps the AC in as well, because this is typically shaded throughout the day. As you walk in, you have this nice tall walkway coming in. Pretty. Let's take a look at the photos. This is a nice home. Obviously, they put some money into this. Floor is nice. Got some granite countertops. Newer appliances, built-in oven. Looks kind of nice. Got some carpets back there. Walk-in closets. These are wood closets. Bathroom's nice. Walk-in showers. Okay. It's pretty. Let's just see the back here real quick. Got some nice little backyard. Kind of close to your neighbor there. But let's just see real quick. Where are we? So we're here. The golf course is over here. So not on the golf course. Pretty house. So let's take a look. See what's going on. So this was sold in 2022 for $643. Listed $635. Ouch. What did I tell you about that 2022 peak? If you're one of those people that bought in 2022, you may lose some money if you try to sell now. You have to hold your house longer if you can. Now, if you bought in 2022 around this time, then if you hold on to it, I think you'll be fine eventually over time. I still think prices are going to come down across the country over time. I don't think there's no doubt about that. Some more in other places than others. But if you look here in Florida, 6/10/2022 was the peak of the Villages. And it's been dropping ever since, as you can tell. Okay? I mean, and you got to remember, in the peak of the Villages, they still bought this house for a $17,000 discount. And so these folks, by the time they get done, they paid $643. They're already below what they bought the house for. They're $635 at 5% commission. There's $30,000 or more. They're down to $600. They've already lost $43,000 on this property in equity when they sell this, if they sell it at this price. And then you got closing cost. So this is a tough scenario. Unfortunately, they have to sell now for some reason. But that's what happens in the Villages sometimes. That's what happens. Just keep an eye on the Villages, what you're buying. And like I said, I can't tell you whether you should buy or not. I can't tell you that. I can just tell you what I'm seeing from my perspective in the business. I can tell you what I'm seeing from a broker perspective of the Villages and also in New York. In New York, sales have slowed because of interest rates. Right now, they're over 7% for some people. A little bit better for FHA and VA buyers. But, when you kick in that 7% rate, a $300,000 house is now $800 to $1,000 more per month than it was a year ago. That's why you're looking at this screen here, and you can see a ton of inventory. And this is just Zillow. If I go to the Villages real quick, if I look at their inventory, they got so much inventory. It makes let's get rid of the pending so you could see them. There's still homes selling, but if you get rid of there's a ton of homes for sale throughout all these old neighborhoods. I mean, it's all over the place, folks. So that's what's going on. And then you have the new builds down here. And some of these spots, there's some nice newer homes that are priced right. You can get them in, and then you have Moultrie coming on down below here, in some of these areas. Okay? So there's a lot of stuff coming on board. that are going to put pressure on the older homes, as I've been saying for a long time. So be careful what you're buying. Make sure that your realtor knows that you're overpaying or not. And you have to do your homework. Look, just because a realtor, a listing agent, prices the home, let's say on the screen, $429, let's say it's an existing home, doesn't mean I'm, as a realtor, it doesn't mean I'm going to trust their figure, right? I mean, I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to make sure that it's really worth $429 for you. That's what should be happening. Anybody looking to buy a house, your realtor's going to make sure they're doing their homework. Do not just trust the listing agent. Trust me on that, okay? All right, folks, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. And if you're a realtor looking for a change, please contact me down below in the comments, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.